If you're a regular on the channel, I just want to apologise for the lack of content of late. I've just been quite busy, and I thought it was a good time to kind of tell you what I've been up to. And if you follow my podcast, A Wild Camper's Diary, you have a little bit of an idea of what's been going on. I made the decision around about Christmas time that I wanted to set myself some new challenges in 2023, and I wanted to do some long distance hiking, aka through hiking if you're an American, multi-day hiking if you're in the UK or somewhere else. I've thought about it for a while, been putting it off, kind of making excuses about time and fitness levels and things like that, and I just felt I needed to give myself a new challenge. So I made the decision to try and walk the South Downs Way, which is a 100-mile trail here in England. It's quite a popular national trail here, but it's not too far from London. So I just felt if I'm going to try some long distance hiking, that seems like a good place to start. Also, I'm quite familiar with that trail. Again, if you're a regular on the channel, if you've seen any of my videos previously, you'll know I've camped on the South Downs Way before. So I've done little bits of it, I'm familiar with it, I'm familiar with the kind of terrain. So I just decided I'm going to go for it. So how do you do that if you live in a city? If you live in somewhere like London, there's not really much green space, there's not really any trails. It's about 8 million people here, so you might be thinking, how do you do it? So in terms of where do you go when you're in a city where there's always somewhere that you can go? Yeah, it might not be green and pretty, but you can walk. Everyone's got places that they can walk. So I use maps, I use Google Maps, Apple Maps, OS Maps. And for some of it, yes, you have to kind of leave the city. So it might start off with lots of roads and buildings and streets and shops and things like that. But eventually that's going to clear and you can get out into clearer spaces. So one of the ones that I did, I left my house in East London, and then I was out into Essex. I was in forest land, I was by rivers, and that was all within, I guess, 2 hours, and I was out of the city. So it's not that you have to, you know, just walk in circles around the city or around your town. You can plot routes out. So what I would recommend doing is plot a 5-mile route from your front door, walk it, turn around and come back. Or you might do a circular route. Sometimes there are, on some apps, routes, there are trails that other people have plotted out, saved and shared, so you don't have to do the work. But there's always a way, and you're still walking. That's the thing, you're still walking. And the greatest bit of advice that I've had in the last few weeks is from Darwin on the Trail. You may or may not have heard of him. He's pretty big in the through hiking community in the States, internationally. And you know, the question he gets asked a lot is, how do you prepare for a hike? Do you have to go to the gym and do loads of weights? Do you have to do something like that? And his advice was just hike, just get out and walk. And no matter what the weather is, just get out. So I've been trying to not be put off by the weather, because when I get out onto the South Downs, it's very exposed and the weather can just suddenly turn and it can be pretty grotty. So I've been going out in rain, sun. I went out when it was -5 and my bottle froze as I was walking. So just trying to push myself and not be put off by the weather, because the reality is you can't do a lot about that. So every 2 weeks since the new year, I've been taking myself out for what I would describe as longer distance, kind of urban hikes, and pushing myself a little bit further each time. I started off, I think I did about 6-7 miles, took that up to 13 miles, then I did a 16, and today I'm hoping to get about 17 miles in, maybe a little bit more. And what's surprising me is my level of fitness. Should I be surprised by that? I don't know. I'm reasonably healthy. But I think sometimes we can become a bit stagnated. We can be sitting on the sofa, especially after Christmas time, and thinking that we can't do it. And I think sometimes our bodies, our legs can surprise us. And I'm feeling pretty good. The more I go out, the better I feel. And I think it's working, because every time I go out, even though it's every 2 weeks, I'm actually feeling a bit stronger, a bit fitter, a bit better mentally, you know, kind of sort of stamina levels, things like that, which is great, isn't it? So bit by bit, oh, got a muddy bit here, hang on. Bit by bit, I'm kind of pushing myself a bit further. And the other thing that I'm doing, you'll notice on my back here, well, sort of on my front, is I've been carrying a backpack. So about sort of 4 to 6 weeks ago, when I first started this, I just had just kind of like a standard backpack, and I've just threw some items in it just to kind of get used to having something on my back. And now what I'm doing is I'm carrying the backpack that I'm going to use on the South Downs Way, which is made by Nature Hike. It's a 40 litre plus 5 capacity, and I really like it. Yeah, so for the last couple of hikes, I've been using the Nature Hike, and I've put some kind of main kind of big items in there that I will take when I go on the South Downs Way. So I've got my tent in there, I've got my sleep mats, sleeping bag, cook set, what else have I got? 2 litres of water, waterproofs, just a few other things. So I'd say it's kind of sort of 75% capacity. I haven't put all my food in, obviously, got all that, and there'll be kind of filming equipment like my drone and stuff like that will go in, that will make it a bit fuller. But so far so good. I've not had any kind of discomfort from this pack at all. So what I would say is, if you are looking at training up for a long distance hike, obviously I'm a complete novice to this, but what I would say is get familiar with what you're probably going to carry, get used to it, get used to the feel of it. Things like this, you know, being able to know where you can kind of grab water from, and kind of side pockets and all that. It's kind of common sense really, I suppose, but it's really worked for me. So I'm going to talk about gear that I bought, and the first thing, and probably the most important thing, is I bought myself a new pair of hiking shoes. So I've abandoned the boots and I've switched over to trail runners. So when I made the decision around Christmas time that I was going to do this, I thought, right, out of all the gear that I'm going to get, obviously I need to get the right footwear to go and do the training in. So I have got the Brooks Cascade 16s, which were recommended to me by sales assistants at Cotswold Outdoors in London, and they fitted me up with these, and they've been absolutely brilliant. I've walked about 60 miles in these now over the last few weeks, and so far, fingers crossed, they've not let me down. They've been really comfy, really supportive of my feet. They cost me about £120, but I just figured I wanted to spend as much as I could on a decent pair of shoes, and I would really recommend them. I'm glad I'm not using the hiking boots. My feet feel like they can breathe. I've ended up in sort of on boggy paths and mud, water, and they kind of dry out quite quickly. My feet feel great, and they feel light. They don't feel heavy, which is really, really good. So that's been the priority, just buying those shoes, getting out in those shoes, and just making use of outdoor clothing that I have. And then I've kind of just added to it just along the way. So I've been doing loads of research. So yeah, in terms of what gear I have bought, well, I am training for my first Thru hike. This is the first one that I've done. So I've just made the decision not to go bananas. I'm not going to upgrade everything that I have rather under the sun. I need a small mortgage, I think, looking at the prices and stuff. So I'm just using common sense. I'm not going ultra light, but I am trying to lighten the load where I can. So I have quite a bit of gear that I can use from my wild camping supplies. So things like my cook set, I've already got quite lightweight stuff. I've got the Toaks titanium mug, you know, little things like that. I've got a little stove, the BRS stove. That's going to be my cook set for South Downs Way. So little things like that. The backpack was a big upgrade, I suppose. So the one that I have been using loads is the Osprey Kestrel. That is probably around 600-700 grams heavier than the one I've got on my back at the moment. In terms of shelter, I haven't bought a new tent. Just trying to watch the pennies, and also I don't know if I want to get a new tent at this stage. So I'm planning on taking my Wild Country Helm Compact 1. I'm either going to take the whole tent and kind of make weight savings in other areas, or I'm just going to take the outer of it. Haven't quite decided just yet. Sleeping bag wise, I'm going to be doing this hike in the springtime, which can still be a bit chilly, but I'm not planning on taking my winter bag. So I'm going to take a smaller synthetic bag that I've got from Robins. I will do a proper loadout video nearer the time, but it's just kind of giving you an idea of how I'm sort of trying to balance it between things that I've got already and things that I'm upgrading. The other thing that I have just ordered from AliExpress is some new trekking poles. The ones that I've got are from DD Hammocks, and they're kind of just basic ones, aluminium. The ones where they're kind of telescopic, you have to unscrew them to get the right size. They're all right, but they're a bit heavy compared to other ones that are available. I have had some issues where the thread has kind of not worked quite properly, and they've come apart, and it's been hard to get them back together. The other thing that I've upgraded is my power bank. So I have been using Anchor power banks with a capacity of 10,000 milliamps. Hopefully I've got that unit of measurement right. But I've upgraded to a 20,000 milliamp power bank from a different brand that was recommended to me on some American through hiking kind of forums, and that one was good value. Actually, it was on a special deal on Amazon. I put the details of it on the screen, and also the thing I like about it is that it's USB-C both ways, so it'll fast charge itself, but it will also fast charge devices. It is heavier. Some purists might say too heavy, you don't need that, but for peace of mind I've gone for double the capacity, just bearing in mind that I have other things that I need to charge because I'm filming it for YouTube. So I'm going to have my drone, I'm going to have other bits and bobs. So I hope that's a helpful video, guys. It's really just to give you a bit of a flavour of what's been going on and what I've been up to, how I'm preparing as a person who lives in a city for my first through hike or multi-day hike. I haven't decided which terminology I should be using yet. And yeah, feeling good, feeling positive about it. I have been updating Instagram, will continue to do that, and nearer the time I will bring out a loadout video and just show you exactly what I'm taking. So I've given you a bit of an idea, but I will show you exactly what I'm taking, and we'll weigh it and do that whole base weight thing and so on. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Take care of yourselves and see you soon.